Hello, good morning everyone. Sama Saturday back here with you with my dear friend, Dr. Katie Kangas. We've been coming to you once a month, so every second Saturday of the month with Dr. Kangas to be able to share a little bit more information and perspective from a fantastic holistic vet. So as some of you might know that follow us regularly, we are on every weekend. My name is Amanda Ree, by the way, founder of Sama Dog, and every weekend, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time, we're here with friends, sometimes without friends, always with furry friends. You can't really see Violet, she's off camera, but this is her tail.
Sheer evidence right there.
And so we come together every weekend to be able to share some dog talks, share some connection with our beloved canine friends and our human friends. So today with Dr. Kangas, hello my dear.
Thank you, hello. My pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for doing this with us and taking the time. You know, Dr. Kangas does not need to do this. She just wants to do this and cares to do this because this is who she is in the world. She wants to be able to get the information out to as many people as are willing to listen to it. So do let us know if you're here. I see my mom is watching. Hi, Mom. And Joanne, hi guys. Yes, let us know that you're here and where you're watching from. If you're willing to share this information out with the world, we're so grateful because clearly, again, that's our big intention is just to get this message out and some of this information that other than holistic vets, you know, it's not out there that far into our own pet parents' lives and empowering them to be able to do the best for their furry friends. And so for those of us especially that don't have access to someone as amazing as Dr. Kangas, now you do. So that's our pitch for Sama Saturdays and why you should watch every Saturday. Yay. So today we are talking about toxins. We've been on a toxin kick and talking a lot about that. We'll be doing a webinar on Wednesday. We'll share more about that and I'll definitely put the link below. But on Wednesday, we will be talking at noon on 12 Pacific time. We'll be sharing about EMFs, electromagnetic frequency waves, the say like invisible toxins. Dr. Kangas is an expert on that topic and she is amazing in what she has shared. She just recently wrote For Dogs Naturally on the topic and that sounds naturally.
Spoke.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
And spoke at
Chicago.
The conference.
Yep, at the conference.
So she's like the woman that speaks on this topic. So this Wednesday.
My big topic lately.
It is. You know, everybody's got to kind of find their space in this world, and that's one of the places that she's chose to verbalize her knowledge and how it can help us to live better, healthier lives, and our friends, of course. So that said, Wednesday's the webinar. You can sign up for free. I'll put the link below and just need to sign up and you'll get the information to get on with us live. So today, however, still on the topic of toxins, we thought we'd make it simple with just 3 tips this morning about how you very easily and pretty much like today can help protect and prevent the exposure and be able to support the health of your furry friends and yourselves. Your whole family is exposed to these toxins.
And some of the information that I'd like to share today is to empower pet parents to have the knowledge of not only how to avoid toxins, but to build up the immune system and the resilience of the pet's body. And these things all apply to ourselves, so it's fun to learn about ourselves while we learn about our pets. How we can build up our immune systems and, you know, better detoxing on a daily basis of our bodies and our pets' bodies. I've mentioned before in previous sessions together that I'm very, very passionate about functional medicine as a subset of holistic medicine. And functional medicine, really kind of the 2 approaches is to give the body the tools it needs to function at optimum, which is essentially nutrition and nutritional supplements and things like that. But also the second part of functional medicine is trying to remove anything out of the body or avoid things that cause degeneration or toxification in the body. And so those 2 things put together, if we can, you know, kind of equip the body in both ways, then we're really, really doing a good job to, you know, stay at optimum health.
It's like from the inside and from the outside.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Build the force field.
Yep, build the force field, avoid what you can, and then put in all the good things that are going to help the body just be powerhouse to all these things that we're exposed to.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And I love how it does really very much apply to all of us. So, of course, many people want to listen to this because of their animals, but hopefully it really in all of our messages of Samadog, and surely all the work that Dr. Kangas does too, that it's a holistic perspective. It's just mind-body healing, it's plant science, it's plant medicine and food to help support us. And with these methods, no matter what species you are, you align yourself with nature better. And nature has ways of protecting us already from what it exposes us to, and we can just harness that power.
Right, yep.
So-
Knowledge is power too, so that's what we're all about.
So is. So tell us, what's our first tip?
So first tip, I really like to talk to all of my new clients and when my new patients come in about a thing that a lot of people don't even think about, which is the amount of toxins that our pets are exposed to with drinking water. And so, probably quite a few people in our area don't drink tap water for themselves, but some people still do. But a lot of people don't think about the fact that their pets drinking tap water are exposed to a tremendous amount of contaminants and toxins. And interestingly, from my understanding, is most tap water, the regulations that they go through, they're testing for about 60 different contaminants. There's over 200 different contaminants that have been identified in water. And this is not just, heavy metals and chemicals and things like that, but it's hormones and medications and conventional drugs that make their way into the waterways, of course, from, flushing down toilets and all kinds of stuff. So there are so many, and actually the food animal industry, you think about, unfortunately, cows and pigs and chickens, and they are being fed and injected with a lot of hormones and antibiotics to, promote growth and better meat production and things like that, or milk production. And these animals, urinate into the ground, and the waters carry that to the rivers and, through the groundwater. And so, long story short, our waters that we drink, if we're drinking from a tap, are oftentimes containing far more than anyone would fathom. And a lot of pets are drinking this, and even if an amount measured in a certain a bowl of water is not enough to qualify as toxic, these things build up in the system over
give
time.
it 10 years.
Exactly, very well said. So the more time that the body is intaking this, the more load of toxins over time. So it does make a big difference. And so simply from switching to tap water to some form of purified water, whether that's you order spring water into your home, or you have a reverse osmosis unit in your home, or even a Brita or carbon filter. It doesn't remove as much as the other impurities as the other options, but it's still definitely helpful.
Yeah.
So anything we can do to help protect them from that amount of toxin load on a daily basis, because obviously water is like the most essential nutrient of life, so we depend on that, and making that as clean as possible is a fantastic way of boosting our pets' health.
And we so often don't think about it. We were talking about that yesterday, how both of our clients will mention it, and it isn't that the clients refuse or don't agree. It's just that they've never even thought of it before.
Completely
Just
unaware.
And I think we do have a tendency to think that dogs have this very strong digestive system, and they
Agreed.
can eat anything, and
Right.
they drink out of puddles in the streets.
Exactly.
So why can't they just drink this water?
So true. I mean, a lot of people have that conception, and we all are so much more resilient than we give ourselves credit for, and dogs certainly too, and they can be very, very hardy, and they can handle eating things, raw meat and things that we can't. But toxins are toxins, and their bodies weren't designed to have to deal with this onslaught of toxins. They were designed to eat raw meat. So that is, doggies are resilient, but and pets in general, but definitely these are things that are not natural to them. And so it really, really adds up, and it takes a toll on the organ systems, and not only the gut that has to intake all these things, it's causing leaky gut and gut destruction and things, but or the lining of the gut, it's causing damage to that, but also the liver. The liver's such a hardworking organ, so everybody's liver's kind of working overtime these days, and definitely our dogs and our cats too. So.
And we wonder why, the longevity or like the illness levels or how often this happens to our animals is increasing so quickly. Well, that's why.
Right.
So I want to invite any of your questions, by the way, just for those that have joined us, because I see a few of you have just logged in. Amanda Ree here with Dr. Katie Kangas. We are in her beautiful offices in Sorrento Valley, California. You can come see this amazing vet if you're in this area, or you want to just drive out to San Diego, which many do. We're talking today about toxins. We're giving you 3 easy tips kind of that you can do today to prevent and support a toxic buildup in your pet's life or in your own life. We've just gotten into water, using filtered water or spring water or some sort of purified system that you will be given to your dogs this way, and yourselves, of course. I wanted to see if any of you had questions, which I think a few of you do, so I'm just going to climb up here. Should we let our dog drink water from puddles as you walk them? Is the question from my mom.
Oh, great question. So, sometimes that's hard to control, and you can't live in a bubble, and there's something to be said for a little bit of exposure, helps to build immune system and stuff. But for the most part, there are contaminants in standing water. It may depend on the neighborhood you live in and
Even
that
stuff
sort
that
of
was
thing.
on the street.
Exactly.
Oil. And
Yeah. So, for the most part, it's nice to avoid that.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't panic if they drink out of a water puddle, but not the best thing if you can avoid it.
I've been to some people's homes before when I've done house calls, and I've been shocked by how they feed their dogs water. In some cases, you probably know these too, just buckets, that are in the yard, and that's their water source.
Right.
And it just gets rained on and everything else.
Yeah, and then
all the
contaminants and maybe molds and bugs. Yeah. So that definitely can.
Our animals cannot handle this is the big message. So please help them. Heather, hi Heather. Hope you guys are doing good. She says, is it safe to add mineral drops to reverse osmosis water for our dogs?
Yes, it is. And that's a great question, because the reverse osmosis process does remove many more things than other purification methods. And so that RO water does have less minerals in it. And so a lot of people do like to add minerals, which is great for yourself and your dogs. A little bit of, pinch of sea salt adds in some minerals, but there are like liquid mineral drops and things that are made to remineralize water that's been purified.
So I didn't know this. This is great. Yeah. And I just remembered I had a question from someone the other day. Alkaline water. You know how it's very popular now. Some of you, I'm sure, probably even have the machinery for the alkaline. Is that okay for animals?
Well, actually, there was just an article that came out that Dr. Karen Becker put out that was on this topic, and it was quite detailed. And essentially, she called in a water expert that gave a lot of information on this, and so
I'll find that article.
This could be a whole. Well, could be a whole nother.
Yeah.
We should do a water topic someday.
We have a list of topics going. If any of you have any suggestions, tell us.
But essentially what this doctor talked about is that it's not really the alkaline status of the water that is helping health. It's actually the issue with hydrogen atoms, and that alkaline doesn't stay alkaline for very long. So you can alkalinize the water for them, but it's not I don't think it's the huge asset that we once thought it was. So alkaline water really hit sort of a craze when it came out.
Yeah.
It, makes logical sense. A lot of people's bodies, the way Americans eat these days, are too acidic. And so alkaline water was a way to combat that acidity, which does cause problems. But more experts are looking at this, wondering if this is really a valid approach. Yeah. So stay tuned, because there's more information coming out on that, and we'll stay abreast on that and maybe have another discussion on that.
Oh, I love it. See, that's why these conversations are so cool, because information, first of all, there's so much information that needs to come out in the first place, like all the toxins, hence what we're talking about in our next topic, or our next point especially, but also things are constantly changing. Everybody's learning. Now studies are finally being done. More research, it seems, is being done on pets, on cats and dogs than ever before.
It's awesome.
So that's why this modern, constant conversation is so important. So just want to check back in, see if you guys have any questions. If you do, let us know. Hi, Pam. It's great. My friend's up in Seattle, up in the Washington area. In the outside of there. Joanne has a question. I have read about putting unfiltered apple cider vinegar in the water, and I have been doing this. What are your thoughts?
Awesome.
ACV is good stuff.
Yes, I know. I was like, that's what I write in my charts. ACV.
Yeah.
Apple cider vinegar is an incredible tool for all of us in our diets. There's so many uses for apple cider vinegar. It is known to be anti-inflammatory. It can help with a whole host of things in the body. Help decrease inflammation, from joints to anything else. Definitely is known to help with GI, issues, digestion, anything,
Yeast, right?
gastric. Yep,
Cuts out the yeast.
So apple cider vinegar is great if your pets are willing to accept it in the water. Awesome. Obviously it will add a little, an off flavor to the water. So there may be more pets that are willing to eat it out of the food.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, so mixing it in the food is totally fine too. So either way, but a great tool to use as food medicine in their regular diet or a regular basis. So.
For us too.
Yes,
It's not the tastiest.
I drink it every day.
Yeah, me too. It's
It's a
little hard to go
Get
down
up in the
sometimes.
morning, warm glass of lemon water with some apple cider vinegar. If you want to add a total pizzazz, you can do a touch of cayenne, but that is very, it's very enriching and detoxifying for the body. So it's perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, what's our second tip?
All right, so our second tip, we talked about water, which is a little bit sort of less known or more people are unaware. Something that a lot of people would be aware of and would think about on a more conscious basis is toxins that are in the environment that our pets are getting exposed to, or even more so, toxins that we are applying to our pets, either topically onto their bodies or internally, ingesting it. And, obviously, dogs tend to be more in the grass, on the ground. Obviously they don't wear shoes like we do, so their feet and their pads are exposed. They're exposed to a much higher load potentially of pesticides and herbicides and things in the grass or the ground or the sand. We're in San Diego, so a lot of our doggies go to the beach. There's a lot of contaminants everywhere that they're exposed to, rolling in the ground and all that kind of stuff. And then in addition to that, most people usually are utilizing, and sometimes you have to, and I always talk to my clients about choose your battles. So, we like to educate and give options, but, we realize that we need to offer some level of protection for our pets depending on the area we live in and things like that. But most people are utilizing some type of flea or tick products or heartworm products and things like that. So those are or deworming products, and these are things that go in their bodies on a regular basis, oftentimes monthly. So some of the things that I really like to talk to my clients about is other options, and oftentimes we can get away with reserving the conventional medications with flea and tick products and things like that to certain months of the year, maybe the summer months. And some other locations around the regions around the country may not have as much leeway as other places, but oftentimes we can get away with using natural products to help us with flea control and things like that for many months of the year. And perhaps just in the summer or fall or the seasons where fleas and parasites are at their highest risk level, then maybe we need to use some other things. But that's a real way that we can minimize the amount of, is just use them more judiciously, and we don't need to put them in their bodies every month just because that's what the old going recommendation was, or what a lot of vets may still recommend, to do it monthly. And it's nice to really take every pet's lifestyle, location, where they live, into an individual assessment as to, does my pet really need this on this much of a regular basis, or can I do without many of the times? Yeah.
And especially, there's so many things to say about this. We'll definitely dive in on this topic because it's a huge one, prevention. But I think also, especially for animals that are compromised in any way, right? They're either getting older, they are fighting an illness, they are dealing with a lot of stress, they've gone through a surgery,
Cancer.
So oftentimes I'll hear of people saying, I just put all of the toxins basically on, but the preventatives, for the pests, and my dog just went through this, that, or the other. And it's like, okay, at least avoid those times.
Absolutely.
It's the body the system is already so weak, and by doing that, it's just suppressing it far more.
Exactly. So if, your pet has cancer or some sort of autoimmune disease or things like that, that's where I get, really cautious and tried to educate about caution of as much avoidance as possible. And learning the other alternatives and options, which we can talk about here. And then at some point, the other thing we can bring up too is even chemicals that we use in our own households. So, and of course, a lot of kitties are indoors, and so they're getting exposed to more indoor things perhaps than outdoor things. And our doggies spend time, split in and outside. But there are a lot of chemicals in the home that people use that they don't really think about as well, which this will help your health as well when you have more awareness and learn more alternative options that can help us to avoid these things in our home. And that would be, cleaners and disinfectants and, even aerosol sprays and things you use to mop the floor.
Anything that freshens aroma. Think of how strong that aroma is to be freshening. Imagine what that's like for our animals.
And they smell like 10,000 times better than we do. So when you spray Febreze, which
Febreze is the worst.
I can't even smell a synthetic smell now without feeling adverse to it. Once you get natural things like essential oils and other plant-based things in your life and you are able to avoid these things, you really become more aware and sensitive to them when you do get exposed to them, and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I don't use those anymore.
And like you said, just learning the differences. That's the big thing, is because we just don't know. Of course, we just use what we've always used, or maybe what our family used, or whatever it might be, or what's most available. But just a little more knowledge allows you to just dig a little deeper, know what to look for on the label, or know maybe a different store to shop at, or better yet, make your own. I know,
lots of recipes.
At one time, that DIY, the do-it-yourself, was like for the ladies that like make their own clothes, and it's like I don't relate to those people. But now I've been DIYing a lot more in my life, especially with cleaning agents and products. And first of all, it's way cheaper. And second of all, it's way cleaner. So there's no reason.
And the great thing is more and more resources are coming out for these things. As more awareness is occurring, more people are becoming interested in this. More people are forming companies to distribute this and meet this demand of most of us who want to find cleaner, healthier, more natural alternatives to some of the things that were standardly used for the last many decades.
Let's see, we have a couple questions coming in here. Hey, Dirk. Dirk's watching with his whole pack of dogs. Dirk adopts dogs from the dog meat trade, so the Jindo dogs. He's got like 6 of them or so up in Ojai. So let's see, in Florida, we have a lawn sprayed for weeds and bugs about every 3 months. They say to keep the dogs off the lawn for that day. Does that spray bother the dogs after that time?
I'm so glad you're at least keeping them off for the 24 hours, because that would be the time where it's probably most risk of causing damage and problems. But
good question, Mom.
Who knows how much impact it has after that 24 hours, but it's got to have some. And even though the label says that, or the company says that, I mean, look, Monsanto's been telling us for a long time that Roundup's okay, and now we know this gardener was just awarded $87 million for, this whole thing's been out on the Roundup. So just because we're told that by the company or the powers that be, take that with a grain of salt and just do your best. And that will lead us, actually, that's a perfect question. Can we talk about the third piece of our 3 tips today is how to build up our pets' bodies to be more resilient to encountering these toxins in their environment, and things that we can give them that are going to help the body to, in a natural way, to detoxify more, but also to build their immune system so that when they are exposed, the body has less problems dealing with it and is stronger with being able to, mitigate these encounters. So it's perfect. And that way, if you're giving things to your dog, like I said, we can't live in a bubble. And, if you live in a neighborhood where there's, which most people do, there's stuff sprayed all the time. So, it's unfortunately somewhat of a fact of today's life. So that's where we get to empower ourselves and share this with our pets to create more strength in our bodies to handle these things.
That's awesome. And so let's show a couple things. Dr. Kangas has tons of great products. I mean, she's got all the good stuff here. You could shop for quite some time. But this is one that I've just recently used on Violet. As you guys know, she has, I know this is going to be backwards, so I'll read it also, but just to show it to you, there's a couple products here. So these are from Mercola, and this is Spot On Topical Herb Repellent, and this is Flea and Tick Defense Spray. So I was using these through Dr. Kangas' recommendations for Violet, who, as you know, is giant and very thick fur, and it's been working great after we did this.
And these are essential oil based. I meant to, and I didn't. I meant to grab a bottle of Away essential oil, which is from Dr. Melissa Shelton at animaleo.info. She's a veterinarian who's one of the leading authorities on essential oils, and she's got some fabulous products too. And one of her oil formulas that is specifically developed for keeping fleas and pests and ticks away is called Away. And that can be diffused or it can be put into a spray and used on them too. This one's ready-made already, so it just is on our shelf, where the other stuff you know kind of use yourself.
One quick comment is, yes, the make it yourself is where I wanted to just say that with essential oil, as you guys know that follow Sama Dog, and you definitely know because you've taught me, we have to be very careful with essential oils. So I would say if we're able to buy a product that has the essential oils in there, made by a veterinarian, is probably a better idea than starting to concoct stuff ourselves.
Yes. There is a brand in, and I'm sure there's several, but there is a brand that's out in the pet stores called Wonderside, which uses cedar and clove oil, I believe. There might be cinnamon oil in that too, I'm not sure. But that one's a very popular one that's readily available online and in the pet stores, which I had quite a lot of good feedback.
Say it again, what's it called?
Wonderside.
Wonderside.
Yeah, so inside CIDE.
Easily
So yeah,
accessible.
and that is essential oil based, but can be found online or in pet stores.
That's great.
And then I love Dr. Melissa Shelton's products at Animal EO and Dr. Mercola's products. So those are some easy, accessible ones that are essential oil based, where it's basically done for you and you don't have to do a lot of homework with the safe dilution of them. And there are essential oil. There's varying quality of essential oils, so you definitely want to get therapeutic grade oils and not synthetic, generic oils basically. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So what other ways to build from the inside out?
So other ways are food. We can always talk about food. So being on a fresh, high quality diet is paramount. I mean, you can't even talk enough about what that does for the immune system, obviously, and the health. Beyond that, some very specific things. We've talked in previous sessions about medicinal foods or functional foods. So a couple biggies to name that would be very good at building immune system strength for our pets is raw milk or raw dairy, and that's really known to help with immune system and allergies. I mean, bone broth is as well. And then fermented foods. Fermented foods are phenomenal, and I'm becoming more and more of a fan of fermented foods, recommending them for my patients and also for every person I know, because the more we learn about the microbiome and how important, how critical it is for our beneficial bacteria that we are supposed to be living in harmony with, they protect us from, the bad bacteria. And so building our pets and our own microbiome to be very diversified and very strong and resilient will absolutely help us when we encounter all these toxins and everything else in our world that our immune system needs to, defend us with. So fermented foods, just so you know, one serving of a fermented food really has more numbers and more diversity of types of beneficial bacteria than potentially a whole bottle of a probiotic. Okay?
Wow.
That is why fermented foods, and they've hit the market for people. I mean, you can't go into, especially a health food store, but even any store, without seeing a ton of fermented veggie options and kraut options and kombuchas everywhere. I mean, all these things. So the health, the health awareness now about what fermented foods have to deliver us and our pets is really surmounting. So it's fantastic. So that's something.
So available.
So a lot of things you can do with fermented, just from feeding your dogs fermented veggies to fermenting your own products. There's a company called Answers, which is a fabulous company that is generally carried in most of the small specialty pet stores. and they have a wide array of fermented products that are specifically made for pets that are fantastic, and this will be something that will really help their immune system being exposed to all kinds of things and just keeping them healthier in general.
What's one food that's a fermented food that's easy to find just at the grocery store that we could easily feed to our dog? Like sauerkraut and stuff? Can
Yeah,
we do that?
fermented veggies.
Okay.
Yep, and a lot of people are making their own, and
Nice.
nowadays it's not even just kraut. I mean, you can get fermented, and kimchi might be a little bit spicy for some dogs, but a lot of dogs could probably handle that fine. But you can get, gingered carrots and fermented beets and, fermented even seaweed and fermented coleslaw. I mean, there's so many options out there now. Most dogs will be willing to eat fermented veggies. Maybe not all. It's got a little bit of a pungent flavor. So if they don't want that, you could get a hopefully raw fermented, kefir or goat milk.
Yeah, they usually don't refuse that.
Would be better than yogurt, but I mean, yogurt still has some benefits, but raw is going to be better, and most yogurts are probably pasteurized. But yeah.
Let me see if anybody else has some questions. I think there might have been one that came in here. Jenny, you're so cute. Am I late? It's okay, Jenny. We're still live. If you're here now, we're live. But you wouldn't really know that if you were listening to it afterwards either. Look into the beneficial. So this is Julie saying, look into using beneficial nematodes to the lawn instead. Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. So the question that was, and whether or not was your friend's name?
This one, Julie.
Yeah, no. When we talked about the lawn that was being sprayed.
Oh, that was my mom.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because a lot of people may live in areas where you're not spraying your own lawn. You're in a complex or something, and somebody else is spraying, so you may not have the option. But if you do have the option, great comment, Julie, is there's something called beneficial nematodes, which you can buy at a lot of the garden center stores and things like that. That will help to naturally cut down the number of pests. So yeah,
they're alive.
Yeah,
they're the nematodes.
Yeah, they're like a larval stage, from what I understand. So yeah,
so they're called beneficial nematodes.
Yeah.
So I've heard about it before and how it has helped a lot of people with fleas, right?
Yes.
It really helps to not only keep things natural, but also fight the pests.
Exactly. So natural pesticide
Fantastic.
in a healthy way. And diatomaceous earth is on that list too. And in fact, I mean, diatomaceous earth is in one of the other products that I like to recommend a lot. So maybe this would be an okay time to mention products that you can put in your dog's food as a supplement, something like Daily Defense, which is made by Glacier Peak Holistics Company. I carry a lot of their products, natural herbal-based or plant-based products. And Daily Defense, as the name suggests, is a product that helps your pet's body be a better defender for itself on a daily basis. It's gentle enough to put in their food once a day, and it's got things in it like diatomaceous earth, which helps them fight off or be more resilient to external and internal parasites. And then it's got other immune builders in it like bee pollen and astragalus. It's got garlic in it, which, by the way, is safe for dogs and normal amounts. Everybody worries about garlic because it made it on the toxin list, but that is generally not a problem, so don't be afraid of garlic. It is in this formula. Garlic is one of the best anti-parasite agents that you can do, herbs that you can do. Other things in here help protect the kidneys and the liver on a daily basis. Very gentle detoxing and draining with the dandelion and the nettle in this formula. So this is a great formula. It's got a couple probiotics.
Oh, that sounds like it would boost allergy too, or like get rid allergies.
Exactly.
Support.
So the immune system. Yep. So this is a great thing, especially for any age. But I really like to recommend this for puppies because they're usually exposed to so many things. Their immune systems aren't quite as strong oftentimes because they're still developing some natural immunity. So puppies tend to be at higher risk for exposure to parasites and other things. And so this is a really great immune builder and cleanser for everybody, and very gentle, designed to be given every day.
Great. I'll just show it a little closer so you guys can see it. I know it's backwards, but Daily Defense, and it's Glacier Peak Holistics. That's the company.
And then we talked about fermented foods containing probiotics. You can also do a probiotic product. Rotating through different probiotic products is great. I definitely like to encourage people to use a probiotic product that's designed for dogs or cats. Not that you'll ever harm a dog or a cat giving a human probiotic, but there is some crossover with their beneficial bacteria and ours, but they definitely have specific bacteria that are natural for carnivores to have as opposed to us. So there are probiotic products that will give them a better complement of their beneficial bacteria than a human product per se. So that's another option. And then one more thing that I could mention is a product that I've become very thrilled about, and Amanda's very aware of this and loves it and uses it herself. And this is a product called Restore, which was developed by a human doctor, an MD named Dr. Zach Bush. And the great thing, it's actually called Restore for People, and this product is labeled as LumaPet for dogs and cats. And this is a unique product, and what it does is help to restore the mucosal lining on the inside of the intestines or the inside of the gut, which is paramount to the immune system, because when the inner lining of the gut is broken down, that's what leads to leaky gut syndrome, to inflammation, to the absorption of more toxins. So once that gut barrier, that intelligent gut barrier is destroyed or at least damaged, then more toxins can leak through too. So it makes the body less resilient when we have this chronic inflammation. What Dr. Zach Bush found with himself and other researchers is that glyphosate, the herbicide that is in Roundup, Monsanto's product, has been doing a lot of damage to the inside of our gut, and that's been a huge thing. This product helps to restore the lining of your dog or your cat's gut or your own gut, so that not only do you have less inflammation and less problems and you're more resilient to toxins, but it helps the body to naturally support a shift of the microbiome and the normal bacteria, the beneficial bacteria, so that everything can get better, back into balance, and we can be stronger and healthier individuals, and our dogs can too. So,
because it's even said too, I mean, that's a great explanation, because I don't think all of us realize how this works. First of all, even if we talk a lot about gut health and microbiome, but we don't really necessarily know how it works, so thank you. Also important to note is that when we can be eating or feeding the best food in the world, but if the mucosal wall is not sound or is permeating, the nutrients will leak out, right?
Yeah.
Or not even be absorbed in the first place. So basically we're just wasting our money and our efforts on creating good food
and
not receiving benefits.
The sad fact is, as well as we can eat, if we have the budget to be able to do so hopefully for ourselves and our pets, and eat as good of quality foods as you can with organically grown things, grass-fed meats and that sort of thing. Even if you're able to provide that level of quality, we are all, ourselves and our pets, are being exposed to an incredible amount of glyphosate and pesticides. I mean, it's everywhere. And they're saying glyphosate, which is the ingredient in Roundup, the toxic ingredient in Roundup, is literally in 70% of the global rainfall.
Oh,
I mean, it's permeated. It comes up from the ground, up in the clouds, back down. So you almost, we can do our best. We can avoid the best that we can, but we can't avoid completely. And that's where wonderful products like Restore, and this is a natural product, by the way. It comes from, I believe, if I understand correctly, a carbon molecule from fossilized soil. So I mean, it is, and a lot of the research behind that was in microbes and soil science and stuff like that. So it's a phenomenal tool. And in fact, I just wrote an article for the Dogs Naturally magazine, which will be in the next edition coming out soon, on this very topic. And I talked about toxic foods, or the plants that have kind of come into the news lately with lentils and phytic acids and things like that, and gut, how that's affecting the gut, and then some mention on Restore, because it is such a unique and proactive product. So
that's
look for that coming out soon.
Yeah, that's going to be a great article. Yeah. And when it comes out in Dogs Naturally, obviously it's in the magazine. Do they put it out digitally also?
You can get that digitally too.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can sign up for digital access to Dogs Naturally, and yep, I really love that organization and the quality work that they do with the publication. And honestly, I read them cover to cover. I encourage my clients to. I usually keep free copies here for people to take. So I would encourage all of you to sign up for that, for subscription to that, because it is a fantastic learning tool.
Just looking down here to see if there's any other questions. Let me just read through a few. This is Julie, says Dr. Shelton just launched a ready-to-use RTU version of Away. Get products, animaleo.info. That's great. And Dirk says, there's all the names of all the dogs. I'll say hello. Bindi, Somni, Yuna, Cleo, Heiju, and Sienna. Donna, totally late here now. Donna, sweet. Let's see. Good to see you guys. I'm just looking to see if you have any other. Yeah, there's Cindy. Cindy got Loonbum Pet from me, and sounds like they're liking it. All of her dogs. She's got like
I'm on
at
it.
least 6 of them
My
over there.
pets are
Yep,
on it.
me too. Silver, Joanne says Silver Biotics. Do you know that? Silver Biotics?
I don't. I'm not familiar, so I don't know if that's. It sounds like obviously there's a probiotic in there. I don't know if that's coupled with colloidal silver. I'm not
maybe.
familiar. There's so many cool products out there, and I'm pretty savvy with supplements, but believe me, I can't know everything that's out there, and so thank you. I love learning from my clients and my resources every day and people that I connect with. So thank you. I'll check into that, but I'm not familiar with that particular. So
I'll let you know, Joanne. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in. I hope this was really helpful and gave you some great insight. Certainly did me. You know, every time we have this conversation, we have an opportunity to just gather a few more bits of information to, of course, provide an even better life for ourselves and connect as a community. It feels good to share in our passion and in our interests and grow together and see each other. So thank you very much for being part of this with us, and thank you, Dr. Kangas, always.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity to share information and be of value. So thank you so much.
You so much are. So more value coming on Wednesday, as we mentioned at the top. So this Wednesday, 12/12 at 12 noon Pacific time, we're having our next webinar, free webinar. So all you need to do is sign up, and I'll put the link below. But just in case, if you want to go right now, it's samadog.com/event calendar, and then you'll see it there on that day. Thanks, guys, so much. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in.